one. Who, everybody? It's the whatever the fuck it is we're doing. Oh God, our pre-show was a mess.
Yes.
Oh, so we are here. Trigger warning. This one's gonna go down the shitter in a hurry. Everyone else is drinking. I have this fine grape juice right here, and I'm classy, so I drink it out of the bottle. So Caleb, what the fuck's going on this week?
Lots of cool shit. Where do you want me to start?
I mean, you just started a new venture. Let's talk about that a little bit.
I did. So we've got a digital media management company we're starting. It's called Big Bill Media. We had been talking about it for a while now, so we decided to make the official announcement on January 1st. So we've got that going. We're going to do our own podcast. We're going to shoot it. We're shooting for Saturday nights. It's called Bread and Circuses. So we'll talk about the political shit on there, but we're also going to we're going to talk about everything. Think kind of like the Joe Rogan experience, but we're not famous or rich yet. So we're going to talk about, it'll be everything from the NFL to politics to fucking psychology to whatever. We want to have guests on too. So if you do want to be a guest, DM me, Caleb Salvatore on Facebook.
So Caleb, you keep saying we. Who is this? You and some of your friends? Who all are you in this business?
Yeah. He's my name's Nick. We talk we talk all the time about this kind of stuff, and we were just like, we should have our own podcast. And then we decided to turn it into a company. What the company does is it'll host other podcasts, YouTube channels, Instagram pages, pretty much whatever, social media stuff. So yeah, I'm really excited. 2019 is going to be a kick-ass year. It started off really great. I'm going to plead the fifth on that and not go into detail about why it started off great. But other than that, yeah.
That's some bullshit. So Kirk,
you don't get to throw that out and pull it back. What the fuck, dude?
What?
You don't get to throw that out there and then yank it back. Started off great, but I'm not going to tell you assholes why.
But I mean,
really,
because I'm a libertarian. It's my private life, and I don't have to tell anybody.
Dude, that's like walking up to a nympho, giving her a thrust, and then pulling out and leaving the room. You just don't fucking do it.
You're going to act like I've never done that before either.
Aaron, how's it going?
Yeah, it's going. Crappy weather here. I don't know what the weather's like where you guys are. It's cold and rainy, and we're supposed to get ice and snow, but it's also Oklahoma, which means I might wake up to 70-degree weather tomorrow. That's what I'm hoping for. Because I don't like ice. It's just no fun.
It's really cold.
That sounds
but the next couple days here are going to be like 50 degrees, so there's that.
Are they?
Yeah. I'm stuck in town, not at home.
10 degrees, negative, real feel like negative 10. It was shitty.
So I'm stuck in town because I don't want to not be able to go to work tomorrow. So different background, laggier internet, which is bad, right? Because my internet sucks. This is a little worse. Just roll with it, people.
All right, Dre. Go ahead. Just go ahead.
What?
I'm just saying, it seems like your shirts are getting more and more video friendly.
I mean, we try.
It's really hot in my apartment, and with the light and everything, I sit here and it gets hot. So people
I think people forget about that.
What we're going for is it's getting hot in her, and you're going to take off all your clothes.
Well,
I know it works online, and it's warm in my apartment, so it works for me.
Oh, geez, Dre, we got to figure out what's going on with your microphone, dude.
Oh, shit. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you just blew us out there. Or at least me. I don't know. Maybe everyone else
I heard
survived.
that was loud, man.
All right.
Was it annoying?
Everyone's drinking tonight but me, buddy. What are you drinking? I got my grape juice, man. Super happy with it.
Are we showing our bottles? Is that what we're doing? My bottle's bigger than your bottle.
Wine.
Jared wanted to know what we're drinking tonight, so.
Mine's a local beer. It's the Vanilla Bean Blonde. It's my favorite beer. It's pretty much all I drink now other than wine.
That is the best beer.
Carl Cranbeck was saying that he got whiskey for Christmas. Apparently his family likes him more than when he's drinking.
So I gotta share this. my cousin got this for our wedding when we got married. This is for Elfie because she's the alcoholic.
Oh.
This stuff, like, if you can get this shit, like, I don't know. He said it's not even like top shelf stuff, but man, this is fucking good. Even
Was
I
that
like
wine?
it. No,
What
this
is it?
single here. It's single malt Scotch.
Oh, okay. Is it berry flavored?
No.
No, it's a Scotch.
With
I don't think, do they make berry flavored Scotch? I don't know.
If they do, they couldn't. If anybody who's a producer of Scotch, if you're making berry flavored Scotch, you're wrong. You're just fucking wrong. Stop that shit.
I wouldn't
So
know. I'm
it
just
was,
saying.
it was the box that all the orange or the purple on the box made me think of blueberries. I don't know.
Yeah, I get that. So we have an exciting show tonight. We're going to talk about relationships. So I thought this would be a really interesting topic. First off, shout out to Less Than Sober News on Facebook. This topic is coming up because Rachel, who we've had on the show before, was talking about this on her Facebook. I don't know if they're going to talk about this on their podcast thing, but we're going to talk about it. She was talking about, more specifically, why don't younger people...
Shame on you, Tom Arnold.
Why are younger people avoiding marriage and settling down and starting families?
Because people want situationships and not relationships, and I get it, right? So a situationship is that great. We're buds, we're friends with benefits, everything's cool. We get all the benefits of a relationship with no responsibility that goes with the relationship. And that's a win. And I think it's not a bad thing that this is what young people are looking at. We're talking about, I mean, I get that when I was 25, I thought I knew fucking everything. I didn't know shit. I was not in a position, most 25-year-olds, you don't send me hate mail if you're 25 and in a relationship. You still don't know who the hell you are.
Yeah.
No, I got married at 25, and I'm a little upset that my parents were like, yeah, sure, do it.
Right?
I was moron at 25 years old.
I was 24, so.
So yeah, cool. Do the situationship thing. Figure out who you are. Figure out what.
I think that what she was talking about though was because she said the generation, and I believe she's within like my age, so that can go up to almost 40 realistically. And even on the upper ends of millennials, you're still seeing this behavior. Birth rates are down in Western civilized countries.
And thank God.
Right?
So many people are too fucking stupid to be reproducing. So
look at some of those too. I mean, when you say that, it's kind of an apples to oranges thing.
Mm-hmm.
So when you look at Japan, for instance, where so many things are very, very, very taboo and relationships are very controlled, people are turning to things like camming and video games, things that are safer.
Well, I think here's the thing, at least with people my age, I got a different experience. I think you can divide it into two categories. I think you have category A, which are people that are in search of this fantasy relationship that social media has sold to them because they see the Instagram crap and they see their friends posting all these happy pictures, and then they look at their own relationship and they're like, shit, this sucks. But what they don't see are the fights and, all that crap. We all been in relationships. We know how it goes. What's that?
I mean,
they don't see the real life. Facebook is what you want to put out there, and that's all it is.
Well,
right. Well,
said in our comments, marriage is theft. In a lot of ways, it is. I mean, we're talking about an agreement where the state is involved from the get-go. And
right.
Is it a shocker that so many younger people don't want to take that path? Not to me.
Well, and I think go
ahead, Caleb. Finish your thought.
Go ahead.
So I can't speak about this from a female perspective at all. From a male perspective, marriage is scary.
Mm-hmm.
Because the laws are set up with the idea that that men are much more successful than women, even though that's not really true anymore.
Right.
When you're dealing with younger millennials, females are actually starting to be more educated. If y'all don't get a webcam, like.
Hey, Josh. Thank you. Yeah.
Anyway, like.
My feed's shitty, so I apologize.
Yeah. So you get what I'm saying, though. Like, the laws are set up to account for women who aren't educated, don't have job skills, but have to deal with these kids now while the man goes off and starts a new family. Well, that's not the situation anymore.
Right. I think it's maybe even better than that. I think we still have these societal mindsets that is the case, right? That we all know the jokes, right? About, make me a sandwich and shit. Make your own fucking sandwich. And this generation is really good about saying that. And I think that challenges some of the stereotypical societal mindsets that we have toward relationships.
No, Julia, this is live. Jump in and ask questions.
Right.
Younger people are questioning monogamy. They're questioning state involvement. They're questioning traditional gender roles. They're questioning all kinds of things. So good for them. Props to them for taking their time and figuring out the answers to these questions for themselves before they jump into something that doesn't affect only their life long time, but other people's.
I was having this conversation with my friend the other day. Are human beings meant to be monogamous? Because if you look at mammals, every other mammal is polygamous. Almost every other mammal is polygamous. None of the head scratching is starting. I'm just asking a question.
No, it's fine.
Like, we're supposed to reproduce, and we're not reproducing right now. And
you're asking a polygamist, is monogamy,
but we also
the go-to? No, but I don't know what it is for you.
No, right. He's asking if it's natural, if it's human nature.
Right,
I don't know, but I think that is what most, a lot of people strive to achieve. I think
it's a societal construct, largely brought on.
Here's my thing. 45% of marriages end in divorce. Would you guys fly if 45% of planes ended in a fiery crash?
Fuck no.
You can always do it the libertarian way.
What's that?
I sent you guys this article the other day. So actually earlier today. So there's 4 ways that people are merging their lives together that does not involve the state so much. So it's kind of like being libertarian married. You do cohabitation agreements, you do wills and beneficiaries, advance directives for health, and powers of
attorney. Yeah. But even those things involve the state. So
right. They protect both in your relationship when the state wants to step in, So
and those only work in certain relationships. When you start talking about alternative lifestyle relationships, even those safety measures become very gray.
Sure.
Right. Well,
but yeah, a lot of this, like Tom just said, a lot of this is we've been programmed as a society to believe this shit, right? To believe that, and part of it comes back to dowries and inheritances. You really want to know why part of the push for monogamy happened was because, look, it's the same reason that within the Jewish faith and culture, they track bloodline through the mother, because there's never any question who the mother of that child is. But the father, man, that could be a coin toss. A lot of this comes down to power and ego. I need to know that child that I'm raising is mine, right? So we have to be monogamous. So a lot of that comes from
Utah.
I have to pause for a second.
And that's how we bridge it. Utah. Josh.
Go to POF.
I said.
Josh, where do I get multiple wives? Answer, why would you want that? Dear God, I can barely deal with the one half the time.
That's a good point.
Look, I was down for a couple of husbands and a couple of wives.
Why do you have so many friends? Why do they keep coming over here? Why do they keep coming? Can you imagine 4 of those? So,
God, No, we're already going into it. So, kind of the next step of this conversation, because we're kind of going through the weird relationships here. There was something else that we saw right before we went live, where the Daily, which one is Ben Shapiro? Is it Daily Wire? Is Ben Shapiro's group?
Daily Wire.
So they had an article about a study that found that like people with traumatic backgrounds are using BDSM as a therapeutic, like it helps in therapy, and
it's bad.
I was not there for this discussion.
No, you weren't
not
in yet.
No,
We were talking about how people who had been in past abusive relationships use BDSM to that's not going to happen, Josh.
They can keep each other company while I enjoy my silence.
if they're that into each other, they're just gonna completely leave you out anyway.
Yeah, probably.
Eventually, you'll just not be.
Anyway, back on
That's
topic.
my
So-
problem, Aaron, because like that's what worries me. Because as soon as you guys figure out how to reproduce without men, there's gonna be a fucking genocide of men. Because for $25, I'm expendable. I don't vibrate.
No. Look, so I'm sure that that's probably true for some women, just as the reverse would be true for some men. There's a huge lack of intimacy with that.
Right.
And intimacy is one of those things that I think as humans we all crave in some way. I think even when we look at individuals who are asexual, they are still they still tend to seek out intimacy. And for a lot of people, that connection is how they get their intimacy. I don't think that would immediately change, unless the government started filling our water with really good drugs
that turn the freaking frogs gay.
That joke has already been made. Move on. It was already made in the comments.
But yeah, it is BDSM therapeutic. So from someone who lives that lifestyle, I'm going to tell you, yes, it is very therapeutic. And there have been multitudes of studies done. The National Coalition for Sexual Freedom has really, really good resource information on this. It's therapeutic a lot of times for both partners, therapeutic for dominants, therapeutic for submissives, regardless of whether both are coming from an abusive situation or only one.
That's really interesting.
So, like,
I never lived that lifestyle.
I'm probably on the other side of this from you, Aaron, given the conversations we've had about this in the past. But when I was, 10 years ago, I was, maybe it was a confidence thing at the time, but I was really on the submissive side of things. And especially when I was in the Army, that was therapy from dealing with a bunch of fucking loser NCOs yelling at me all day, coming home, taking off my uniform and putting on a persona. That was powerful. And
well, sure, it's very powerful.
Yeah.
It's a great way to regain kind of your power back.
Right.
I told you guys before Caleb got on. So my grandmother, my family on my grandmother's side were like half of them fled the Bolsheviks. The other huge bunch were Holocaust survivors. And when I got my first ink, my grandmother cried.
Got your first what?
Said
Tattoo.
my first ink.
Oh, okay. I don't know
Said,
anything about those. So.
She said that's how they marked us, and you've gone and done it for them. And I get it. Like, I get where she was at. I had a very different view of it, even tying to that, which was, yeah, that's how they marked you without your consent. And I did this myself on my terms. Nobody other than me will ever be able to mark me. I've already done it.
Right.
I took ownership of that. There are ways to regain power, and a lot of practitioners of BDSM find that power there.
Yeah. Aaron and I are both prior service, and I think that we would agree with that statement.
Yeah, great decision. Shows that we grow, that we have an ability to kind of evolve, and our decision-making process tends to come with us.
So now I'm going to bounce to the other side of this topic a little bit, because so with Elfie being really, well, not anymore. I think the therapy has helped, and we have a much different relationship now. But like a year and a half ago, like she was to the point where like marks and like pain that lasted for a fair amount of time. Like that was what she was into. And that was hard on me because I don't like hurting people.
Well, you've been conditioned that this is hurting people, right? But for a submissive that is into impact, that's into things like marks, this isn't, you're not hurting them. If I said to you, Zach, for my birthday, I would really like a new pair of shoes, this pair of shoes, would you ever say, I'm not going to buy you shoes because shoes are painful and will hurt you?
Right.
Well, you wouldn't. So when you're talking about an impact player who says, please leave marks on me, to them, they are not experiencing the same experience that you were experiencing. To them, this is not how you're seeing it, right?
I think that's always going to be difficult for men because I don't know if you guys remember what I was talking about last week when I have services done, I prefer to have men because men are more gentle. So I think men know they are much, much bigger than us and their force is always going to be more. So they tend to try to be more gentle with us. So even in a BDSM situation, I think when he's doing things and it's one way and then she's asking to escalate, that is, I can see where that's difficult and maybe a little uncomfortable for a guy.
Can I bring this a little bit out of the sexual realm?
As someone who has zero experience in this.
Hashtag patriarchy.
Yeah. So two things. First off, if anyone, if just in case this has to be said, consent is key in all BDSM relationships. Don't do any of this bullshit without consent, and like healthy consent, not like coerced consent.
None of the 50 Shades. No 50 Shades shit, right?
Yeah, that's not real.
Look, if we want to do a whole podcast devoted to pointing out all the bullshit that is involved in 50 Shades that is not BDSM, that is truly abuse, I am down. If you need those things pointed out for you, you DM me, find me on Facebook, and I will answer those questions for you. It's all about consent, and it's about negotiated interactions. BDSM does not work without a ton of communication, real, honest, painful communication. Yeah. So if you're not down for that, this is not a game.
Yeah. Caleb, I wanna tag you, like we're gonna move away from the sex part of this for a second.
I'm uncomfortable. This hurts my Christian conservative values.
This is why you spent New Year's Eve meditating and becoming a virgin again, right?
Can we please? Come on, Caleb.
No.
Okay. No, hang on. So, Caleb, real question.
We talked about.
Do you ever? Because this is a problem I have. Like, I'm afraid to move sometimes around my wife because I'm afraid to hurt her. But a lot of times I get elbowed and everything because she doesn't have to pay attention to those things because it's really hard for her to hurt me. Is that a problem that you've ever had to deal with? Or am I just like a bitch here?
No, I've never had that. I'm sorry.
Well. You're saying he's a bitch.
Well,
I didn't say that.
I am always terrified that I'm going to hurt her because, she's like 5'3". And
sure. Dude, she'll tell you. If you hurt her, she'll say, Zach, that hurt. And you'll know not to do that.
No, this is not even sexual, though. This is like, I'm afraid as I move through the house that if I don't watch my step, I could.
Yes. Can I say?
And the kid be like, hey.
Go ahead, Dre.
So I was walking down the hall one day, and this person at work, and this person who was probably over 6 feet tall, well over 300 pounds, was not watching where they were going. They almost literally walked over the top of me. I'm sorry, when you're a big person, you have to watch where you're going because you can't hurt people.
Right. Didn't you say something that was you like, hey, dude?
I had like just come around a corner and he's like on his phone, almost ran right over the top of me.
Were you walking on the right side of the hallway?
I was. Because
Right,
that's a thing I do, because I know how fucking traffic works.
You know what?
But on the flip side, you worry, like, Aaron and Dre, you're both kind of petite, smaller females. Is that, I can't imagine that you two have to ever think about, unless you're around children, am I going to hurt this person by, like, tripping into them or something?
No,
Okay,
not very often. And tall people around me have often almost broken my nose simply by turning and the elbow almost going into my face because that's where it is.
I think for me, it's the reverse. I think I'm always watching because
he was a small person.
I'm not big enough to not get overlooked sometimes. So I know if somebody turns around real quick, they probably can't see me. They probably don't know I'm there. I'm not at eye level for most people.
Mm.
Yeah,
Never
you have
had
to
that problem.
For them.
When I was 8, I did. I take that back.
So, and when I'm at work, I walk, like, because I swing my arms really bad, and I bump things as I'm walking. So when I'm at work, this is funny, because people laugh at me at work about this. I will walk sometimes with my arms behind my back if someone's, like, standing out there, and one of the ladies at work is like, why are you walking like that? I'm like, because God forbid I walk by swinging my arms and accidentally smack your ass. And she died laughing. She's like, yeah, I can understand that now, because, like, I would think that's kind of funny if I knew that you had made a mistake, but half the bitches in here would probably lose their shit on you.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
funny, but at the same time, you get fired for it.
Oh, fuck
that
yeah.
has happened to me, and I have done that. Luckily, I love where I work, and we keep ER and HR away because we would all be fired.
Try working with kids. You turn around and some kid is like head first right into your crotch. I mean, you have to pay attention.
Yep. Nope. I like working with men until I can say whatever the fuck I want.
That's the thing. At one point, we had all worked together for so long at my job that the professional boundaries were non-existent, and it was probably better that some of the people left because it was ridiculous. But
so at my job, we had our male meeting, and it was starting to get to that point, and then we had a high turnover. We'll touch on that, Sam. Don't worry. We had a high turnover, and then we had a bunch of new people come in, and like a lot of them were not middle-class white people. So some people in our male meeting had to change the way they talked really quickly. I'm always shit, so it wasn't me. But so,
of course it wasn't, right?
So
look, I'll say some shit, but go ahead, Aaron.
No,
Tom Arnold says BDSM is not always about sex, and he's right. So
yeah.
I have a whole page devoted to this on Facebook. Is I think everybody assumes that this is a sexual thing, but many times it has nothing to do with sex. There's no intercourse. There's no sexual conduct or contact in multiple scenes, many scenes. For a lot of people, the majority of their scenes. Yeah. And if you seek out the assistance of a professional dom, those are non-sexual.
Yeah, a lot of times they are. So we got a question here, and I don't think we've ever actually hit this topic. Like, we've danced around it a bunch. What do you think of the Me Too movement?
Oh, puke.
Well,
I like that movement.
Look, like, I think it was well-intentioned.
Here's my thing.
Yeah, it was very well-intentioned, but yes, I am 100% behind the not me movement.
Well, when you have the scumbags like Kevin Spacey and what's the fat fuck, Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah.
Those guys, I have no problem with those guys going down. But at the same time, And when you see the Kavanaugh thing, and if you know me, you know I'm not a fan of Kavanaugh because, I mean, he doesn't believe in the rights of privacy. But when you see the Kavanaugh thing, he was like, all you have to do is say something and you can ruin somebody's life.
Well,
I don't
it's
want to
not.
live in a
One has come out and said they lied about him.
yeah. And
You
I
guys
don't want
not
to live in a
even
world
said.
where I'm going up for a job interview and someone nope, he did that. No proof, my life's over.
Right.
That's bullshit.
And then
Well, what
everything though. Go ahead.
And
Eric.
what about Terry Crews' whole story, where he came out with his story? My biggest
Well, he's a man, that doesn't count.
bitches with the Me Too movement is it acts like this shit doesn't happen to men, and that's just crap. It's crap.
That's
Yep.
crap. What's also crap is women who agreed to do sexual favors to get furtherment in their careers.
Yeah.
I don't think you have the right to include yourself as an abused party when you said, sure, I'll do this thing and you'll, promote my career forward.
Well, it's
sure,
like
but what they're
You're not being abused. You agreed to that.
they're
Right.
claiming coercion now, that they agreed under duress. They were in fear of being fired. So you know what? Like, so fucking get fired. That's a lawsuit.
That's a job. That's not, your life is not in danger.
why would you want to work for somebody like that? That's what
Right? Well,
Thank
because
you.
they'll be rich and famous and be on posters and spank banks all over
Right.
the world and make millions of dollars for doing not much. So Sandra McGowan says, did you see the video of Elizabeth Warren drinking beer? Yes. Have you ever seen anyone drink beer like that before? If you did,
No.
they were 4 years old and it was their first beer ever.
No, it was awkward. That was more awkward than a bunch of libertarian men at a dance.
Hey, don't include me in that.
Is this how the humans dance?
Okay.
Yeah, it's like
We need to get
I
Chucky
mean-
to come watch.
Okay, no. So here's a rabbit hole for us. So thank you, Susan. It's like, I support Louis C.K.
I was
This
gonna say
man
something about that.
is red pilling the shit out of himself the last couple weeks. First off, so Louis C.K. asked a couple of or however many women to watch him masturbate, which is weird, but hey, not my kink. Whatever.
It's creepy,
Right.
but like he asked. It's not like he just did it.
Yeah, they
That's
said
disgusting.
yes.
It's disgusting. I would never ask someone that myself.
He didn't
I
say, hey,
consider that a personal, private thing and should be done personally and privately, unless
Right.
he says, "Hey, yeah, I want to see that." Because
if
I don't
he
think
said,
people want to see that. I don't know. Am I
Okay.
wrong?
how many guys, Dre, how many guys have you been on a date with? You're at a bar and they say, want to go back to my place and mess around? How is this any different?
It's the same thing. It's the same thing.
Yeah, that's
You know,
just
it's like-
that's
I
his version
Have
of sex.
never had a guy say, "Hey, can I beat off in front of you?"
Right, but
Like-
that's his. That's how
No,
he expressed himself sexually.
And
That's
some of
insane.
these people were not dates he brought home after a bar. These were like work contacts or whatever.
Like interns.
right?
Oh, look, come
Well-
on. We're all work contacts and look at the shit we say to each other.
That's fair. That's fair.
I mean,
I've never
Like-
asked any of you people if I could beat off in front of you.
well,
Yeah,
not,
but you show us your feet like every other week.
like not
I
yet.
didn't
I
know
mean,
that was
look,
a thing for you.
look,
I did it.
it's one thing if he goes to the stagehand and says, hey, you're kind of hot. You can watch me beat off or I'm going to fire you. That's not what
Right.
he did.
No, not at all. That we know of. But she didn't say that, so it's like
Right.
Right.
So he goes away for a while, and hopefully during his self-reflection realized, you know what, these people are fucking crazy, and I didn't really do anything that wrong. Like, I'm a little creepy, but I'm a balding Irish guy, so that's just par for the course.
How about maybe he just needs to make better decisions in crew because
Right.
he's clearly hiring the wrong people.
So
Right.
then he comes
Wow.
back and he does these sets where so his take on the Parkland shooting survivors was definitely a hot take, and I don't think I would have the courage to say that, but he's
But
not
he's
fucking
exactly
wrong
right
either.
the fuck on.
He wasn't wrong.
Yeah, it's like everything he said was like it wasn't like people were calling him right wing. That's not right wing. That's centrist. You don't want to know what right wing sounds like, you crazy assholes.
Yeah,
right. It is nowhere near where you're at. Like,
fuck.
No.
Ground yourselves in some reality, for fuck's sake.
Right.
He's not right wing.
Google Christopher Cantwell, the crying Nazi.
Oh God.
And you'll know what right wing sounds like.
Remember when he was a libertarian?
No, because he wasn't.
Said he was a libertarian. He clearly never was, right?
He's the same as what's the other fuck boy? Molyneux?
Molyneux.
Stefan.
That hurts because I got into the liberty movement. Like I was already a libertarian, but I started getting involved in the liberty movement and all that because of Molyneux. Like he used to legitimately be a libertarian.
Hey, if anybody knows Stefan, tag him. We would love to have him on the show. I've got some shit I'd love to discuss with him. Like,
and tell him that I said he's a fuckboy.
You know what I'm saying? He's a fuckboy?
I'll say that shit to his face.
Okay. Well, I can't go that far. Like, I don't agree with everything he says, but I like stuff.
I'm going back to my pegging on this one. Like, seriously, come on.
Him and Shapiro.
Now, Aaron, careful. He's got mommy issues as it is. If you abuse that poor boy, it's gonna go badly.
Well, did she say anything about Ben on the air? I don't think everybody knows.
I think she needs to say it again, though.
Like, I really wanted to peg him and make him cry.
Who?
I think he would be hypocrite, though. Like, clearly,
Ben Shapiro. We're talking about Ben Shapiro.
I'm trying to get her to say. I'm trying to get her to say what it was. Just so people can get the mental image, the full experience.
Like, I think he's into diapers. I think he would get off on being pegged violently.
I don't know what that means, so.
All right, backing up. Sam, who are you talking about with arguments, Sam? Shapiro, like we're dogging on a lot of people right now. We can go argument for argument with any of these people.
Yeah,
with
sure.
Shapiro, you just have to make him. Oh, Stefan. Okay. So Molyneux.
Look, Molyneux makes good arguments and some bad arguments, right? Like one of the things that I heard from Molyneux early on that I still believe is true is that the difference between a belief and a principle is that you can extend a principle to infinity and it will still hold true. And if it doesn't, maybe it isn't a principle. I don't think he's wrong about that. He's not wrong about everything he says.
Nobody's wrong about everything.
Right. I mean, a broken clock's right twice a day.
Even NFL refs get it right. So, I mean.
The big thing with Molyneux, like the big change that he's made that we're all probably on board with being wrong is the immigration stance.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And this is so Sam is a friend of mine. We go back a ways, and this is probably where him and I differ on the libertarian spectrum is the immigration thing.
Well, that's where most people start to have a struggle.
And the thing is, like, look, as libertarians, if you're going to take the hardline libertarian position of open borders, you are dealing with like 20% of the country because most people don't believe what we believe. Even the weird Democrats that are pushing for immigration stuff don't actually believe in open borders. They're just tweaking the Republicans on it.
Triggered.
This comment we just got up, Zach.
The ADD one?
Yeah. Carl, are you talking about us or Steph's or Ben's?
I think it's us.
All of us.
You don't have to have ADD to follow these conversations, but it helps. So what is Molyneux wrong about? The idea that... You shut up a minute.
Or lack thereof.
The idea that someone... The way to deal with people coming into your country for freebies is to try to build a wall or close the borders and not to fight the welfare state. Instead, it is taking the problem backwards because you cannot close the border. And our borders are fucking huge. We cannot close them. It is absolutely impossible to enact real border control in America.
let's look at the real deal. Something like 41% of undocumented persons in the United States entered this country legally and on a fucking plane. Tell me how your wall stops that.
Yeah. And
let
so the thing is,
let me say one more thing.
Okay.
Can I?
Yep.
If a guy with no knowledge of the English language, no verifiable work history, and no social security number can take your job, you're a fucking loser.
Yeah, step your game up, dude.
No, pause. Okay, I'm gonna push back a little bit there. Because at 21, that was me. I didn't have a degree. I didn't have a lot of job skills. I was working at a cereal packing plant. And the only reason I got hired is because my biological mom worked there and she's a fluent Spanish speaker. So they thought I was too, and they hired me to fucking translate. And then after they'd hired me, they're like, well, shit, we can't get rid of him now that we hired him. And like, I didn't lie. I did not tell them that I spoke Spanish. They assumed, and I didn't even know that was an assumption they had made. Here's the deal. By bringing those people into the country, the immediate effect is, yes, they take low-level jobs, and a lot of people will lose access to work short-term. Under-skilled people. However, then you have to start providing services for those people, and suddenly the job market blows the fuck back up because all these people need more cashiers, clothing makers, all these companies that service all people, like food manufacturing, anything like that. They need to hire more because the demand is now higher and they can't keep up with the demand. So now there's even more jobs.
The thing I'm so sick to fucking death of is the whole Schrodinger's immigrant. Like, make up your mind. Either they're coming here and taking in welfare or they're coming here and taking your jobs, but they're clearly not doing both. So pick a side.
Well, here's the thing. If your argument is that they're going to come here and use welfare, your problem is really with the welfare state and not illegal immigrants, right? Like, am I wrong or?
No, so that's not really that's not an argument being made in this case, though.
Okay.
I don't think.
No, I was just replying to her.
Okay.
No, but I mean, these are the two sides that you hear, right? It's either all these immigrants are coming here to suck our welfare system dry, or all these immigrants are coming here and they're going to take our jobs.
I'm not worried about them taking my job.
Those two things conflict with each other. So, make yourself more marketable.
So the thing is, God, I hate putting myself on this side of the argument. So they don't necessarily conflict with each other, and here's why. When we talk about welfare, a lot of times we kind of zone in on like food stamps, actual welfare, that kind of thing. But like that's also vouchers for school. That's all these benefits that some states give to people who are undocumented to give them. Right. But to most people, the state and the federal government aren't really any different. And a lot of these states get a lot of federal funding, and that's what allows them to do these things. If they didn't have federal funding, they wouldn't be able to do it.
Oh, they would be able to do it. They would find a way to do it. A state like California is going to continue to operate in the ways that Californians allow.
Right, but you got to kind of push California.
About
the
women being single mothers, because I'm trying to figure out what that means.
What?
Something about, okay, so how are they single mothers if they have a husband? Like, I'm not trying to be a dick.
They don't marry women are single mothers. Works.
There's some.
Are you talking?
I'm not trying to make that comment. I'm just trying to figure out what that meant.
No, I think. No, Caleb, I think there's some typos, and I'm not sure what to make of that comment.
Stay-at-home mothers, maybe? I know plenty of white women that are stay-at-home mothers.
I don't think that's. I think he's lagging behind the conversation a bit.
That could be.
If they weren't here, those jobs would pay more. No, if they weren't here, those jobs wouldn't pay more. And here's the reality: we hear most of these complaints from boomers, right? From baby boomers. Millennials outnumber baby boomers 3-1. They're already taking your jobs.
Thank God.
If you're really concerned about your jobs, be concerned that a millennial is going to take it, because they are.
He's a millennial. He's my age.
No, I think they're talking about the jobs that people who are maybe in between high school and college age, underskilled workers would normally take. Illegals.
So here's the theory. It depresses.
In university, go to vocational school, do a concurrent enrollment your senior year in high school, and graduate from high school with your LPN and go to work in a medical field. Stop choosing women's studies. Stop liberal arts.
Well, okay. To be fair, the majority
studies
of people,
worthless bullshit degree. Yes, but when people are just out of high school and in college or in high school, they're going to take these low-skilled, low-paying jobs, and Americans should probably get those first dibs on those jobs in America.
Can I play devil's advocate?
Like Samuel saying.
Can I play devil's advocate?
Yeah, go ahead.
The majority of the people bitching about the immigration thing, and y'all know where I stand on that, but the majority of the people bitching about the immigration thing don't have gender studies degrees. I mean, they're pretty far right. You know what I mean? Like, so that's all I want to say.
Right. It's the same thing. It's the same that the people with gender studies degrees are the people that the people on the right are pointing to say they don't have a job.
Okay.
I don't think that's.
Just wanted to clarify.
I think so. How do I say that? God, there's nowhere to say this without going into race.
Look, I can't tell you how many times I have heard from somebody. People who are unemployed. Okay, I can't take that job because I'm worth more than that. You want to talk about the real problem? That's a huge part of it. You know what you're worth? What somebody's going to pay you.
Oh my God. So if you're out of work, whatever job you can get until you get the job you're worth, you asshole.
But how many times have you heard somebody say, Caleb, Zach, Dre, I'm not working fast food?
I think that we're kind of strawmanning here a little bit, though, because it's not really the point that he's making.
We're talking about Sam?
Yeah, I'm trying to make, like, without having really gone deep with him on this topic before, I'm trying to make what I think is his argument. So here's the deal. When you're dealing with entry-level workers, and sometimes that includes like 40-year-old black men because of the drug war.
Yep.
Right.
Like, let's be honest.
Women in their 40s.
Right. So when you bring in a large influx of immigrant workers, one of the costs there is that a lot of your not well-off native population, in our case, that is the black population. Let's be completely honest about our demographics here.
Right.
They get pushed out of the job market, and because they're already getting pushed out of the job market with the drug war and all of this, making them unhireable to a lot of companies. And this is not me saying all black people are into drugs. Look, we're talking about real issues.
Well, you've had a 30-year war where the CIA pushes crack to the inner city. So, I mean,
yeah,
right. But again, the issue there isn't really with immigrants. It's with criminal justice reform. The issue isn't really with immigrants. It's with the welfare state. So let's focus on the real issues.
The thing is, though, that is like 5 or 6 very, very difficult issues to solve, whereas immigration is one really difficult issue that doing what they want won't solve, but in their minds it will. So what are you going to do? The one really...
Cancer. You're putting a Band-Aid on cancer, and it never works. That's not a fix.
Here's the thing. Like, you look at Europe, where they have, like, totally open borders, and, I mean, it's fucking chaos. Like, there has to be some kind of, in my opinion, some kind of happy medium.
Well, I think
that's why
Europe doesn't have a migrant crisis if they don't have a welfare state. Because all of those countries, basically all of those countries have huge welfare states.
Right.
And that's why they have a migrant crisis.
Right.
So the thing is, you can't have open borders and a welfare state. And our argument is, well, you take out the welfare state because you can't possibly close borders all the way.
No, it's impossible.
Well, and it's bigger than that. Look, it's a free market depends on the free exchange of goods, services, and labor. Labor is people. Period. That's what it is. Okay, so that is
Sam, if you're listening and you want to have a conversation about this where you're not interacting with like 4 people, next time I'm in Fremont or whatever, we can hang out and have a conversation about it where we can discuss ideas, because like it's difficult to have 4 people sitting there telling you you're wrong, and it's hard to have a conversation there. So let's move off of this, because I think we've made our points.
Will you put Carl Crambeck's comment though, his last comment? Because that's, fair point.
Yeah.
No, shots don't cure cancer. Biopsy cures cancer. You got to cut that shit out.
Isn't a shot like, isn't that how they do, what's that?
They do chemotherapy with an IV. Chemotherapy is ineffective in 90% of the cases. It only works in 10% of cancer cases.
Right.
Just FYI.
Like nothing works all that effectively on cancer, though. That's
biopsy works better in a lot of cases. And early detection.
Okay. We're good. We're getting too literal with this analogy. Thank you, Sam, for being fun. Look, he said he's having fun. We're having a good discussion. We can have good discussions where we disagree, and we can all be adults, and this is fucking wonderful. And I wish that Republicans and Democrats could fucking do this. Fuck you guys.
None of us take. When I say this next thing, I don't want anybody to take it the wrong way. When I say none of us take it personally, believe me that these issues are very personal for all of us. Mm-hmm. But we don't take the conversation, the discussion, small disagreements personally. We don't.
Yeah, we don't. I'm going to go cry in a corner.
Sam is a liberty ally, and we disagree on this one thing. And this is the great thing about the liberty movement. We can go together until we can't go anymore, and then we can part ways.
And then we can go back together and shit we agree with tomorrow.
Yep.
Right.
And that's important because, like, Aaron and I are like the hardcore anarchists here. And I think Dre.
I'm not an anarchist.
What's that?
Neither am I.
I'm not really an anarchist.
Dude.
Well,
I mean, no, look, I get labeled as an anarchist all the time. I reject anarchy on its face because the logical side of my brain says it's never truly possible. Anarchy literally translates to no rulers. And if I am alone on an island, I'm my own ruler. No rulers isn't possible unless I die.
All right. So then you and I are the extremists, whereas like Dre and Caleb are varying degrees of.
I'm a radical.
Dre's probably more libertarian than me.
Yeah. Like I'm not quite extremist. I'm crazy, but I'm not that crazy. I am a radical though.
I would definitely
believe in
I am not a pragmatist. I am definitely a radical.
No, neither am I. Like I'm not like
I'm a pragmatic radical.
Gross. You know.
Did you just say
I'm a pragmatic radical?
I'm not.
Is that a thing?
I'm not.
Yeah. I think most radicals are pragmatic. But pragmatism to me involves compromise. And compromise doesn't mean that I give and you don't. Ever.
Right, that's not compromise. That's just giving.
We've had that conversation about compromise before.
But I think a lot of people who call themselves pragmatists, they're willing to give and get nothing in return.
Sam, now you're just not
fuck that all day long.
No.
Should we give up on starting a libertarian party and take over the Republic? No. Go away with that shit.
Trump. I'm sorry.
So the thing is, we can't how many Republicans could you stomach to vote for? I can think of like 4. Rand Paul, Massey, Amash.
All the Liberty Caucus.
Yeah. And that's where I start running into walls, man.
I got my feet wet in campaigning for a Republican candidate who was running for governor in Michigan a long time ago, and he won both of those races. He was a welfare reform school voucher guy, right? So yeah, but have I ever voted Republican in a presidential election? No. And I've never voted Democrat in a presidential election. I voted for Garfield the Cat and Iron Man, but never Republican or Democrat.
In my first election, I did vote for Bush, but in my defense, I was 18.
You want to know how young I am?
Well,
you know how young I am?
Huh?
First presidential candidate I ever voted for? Gary Johnson, 2016.
Oh, yay!
I'm sorry for stumbling. This is empty. So
Caleb's a little drunk. It's okay. He's
Okay.
youngest.
Yeah, look, I'm with
the Roads to Freedom.
hey.
I'm on beer number 3. I need number 4.
See, I know.
Look, I'm only halfway through my sparkling grape juice. You don't see me getting trashed over
Yeah,
here.
you're the designated driver, man.
Give me a potty break.
Our
One of
comment
us has
about
to be able to read the comments straight.
our comment about this is easier if you have ADD, or if you drink, then it gets a lot easier.
You need to drink.
The thing is, like, this is viewership-wise. I'm going to pull the curtain back a little bit. We've been between 10 and 15 concurrent viewers the entire time. The lowest we have gone is 8, and it immediately jumps back up over 10. So this is our best podcast. We've had a ton of interaction.
We haven't. We
got to go over some things. We got to go over some things. 2 weeks from now, we have Kevin Shaw coming on. He's the guy that did the Pocket Constitution lawsuit and won. Right. And that was a huge victory for free speech in schools. We're going to have him on to talk about the legal process and that being a way that we can fight back for our rights. And that's really important because he gained a lot of perspective. He also works with the Liberty Institute for Freedom and Economics, which is kind of they're not like a sister organization, but we're like cousins going the same way. And we've been working with them a lot lately on social media. Oh, hey, there they are. So yeah, that's
sorry, guys.
That's going to be a great conversation. What else? We have
cousins.
Yeah, but not like
there's
a
an Alabama joke in there somewhere.
Guys, I know we have awesome guests lined up on and off throughout February. So I mean, just tons of cool people.
Actually,
are gonna want to hang out.
Josh Smith just when we were talking today, I messaged him and we were talking back and forth. He wants to come on soon, so we'll have him coming on soon, hopefully.
Awesome! Him talk to Josh. Nola.
Zach Foster is going to be on with us in February. He's been working with the Cuban Libertarian Party and the Venezuelan Libertarian Party, so he's going to give us some updates on that. And we get hit all the time with this how socialism was so successful in Venezuela, and Zach's going to give us some good deets and good info and a very clear picture of what socialism in Venezuela really looks like.
That'll be great. And
we have good
stuff. Sorry, Zach, go ahead.
So we're starting to plan for the next unconvention.
September 13th through the 15th.
Yeah. What else? Yeah, we're going to start pumping out some speaker announcements and stuff like that over the next couple weeks. The other thing, we hit 2,500 likes on Facebook this week.
Did we?
Thank you, everyone. Yeah.
Thank you.
We're actually almost to 26 now. So we hit like a week. Oh yeah. So check out our Instagram, the Twitter that I almost never use. Our YouTube channel off and on does really well depending on what videos are being posted. I think
good
that's
stuff
about
on the
it.
And look, if you like our page and you like our podcast, please invite your friends. Share it with people.
And we got
So,
a lot of shares on this podcast tonight. Thank you all very much. It means a lot to us.
Jesse! Yes, Jesse. Thank you so much for resizing our picture. I've been wanting that to happen for months. It's been driving me batty. Thank you.
And
but yes,
don't forget
to come speak at the Unconvention. DM one of us. If you want to be on our podcast, DM one of us. We'd love to have you.
If you're a vendor, you want a table at the Unconvention, let us know.
Go like
Help
Big
us
Bill
out on
Media
LiberPay.
Facebook.
Can we
Self-plugging.
So Caleb,
the link?
self-plug. You too, hush. Caleb, self-plug.
Go like Big Bill Media on Facebook. There's not much going on there right now. Couple weeks, it's going to be a lot of. It's going to be big. It's going to be very interesting. It's not going to all be about politics, but you guys are going to like it.
I posted
a link
to
Caleb's media page. Can we get a link on the page
that
I'll
tag
for our viewers to find?
Yeah,
I'll tag it.
Also, go to liberpay.com/Scenic Views Podcast. This is one of the few platforms we found that isn't demonetizing the shit out of people that have bad opinions. And that's important to us. Like, we might not like the Nazis, but we're not really cool with people deplatforming a radical centrist like Sargon of Akkad.
For fuck's sake, yes. Liberpay.com, folks.
Help us out. That's going to hopefully buy us some better equipment so that all of us can have a cool webcam like Dre. I can't guarantee that we'll have the right lift for that, but...
Holy shit.
Yeah, please go there. Please click the link. Please help us out so that we don't have to try to monetize our podcast on Pornhub.
Because we're all broke. So...
I have $18 in my bank account right now. All right. So for Caleb, Aaron, and Dre, I've been Raptor. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out with us. We'll see you next week.